Unmute your mic, Kiko. That's the best way to start a game. Greetings, everyone. It is I, Kikoski, welcoming you to the stream. The pre-stream, to be exact, where you have the opportunity to get here, get comfortable, and get ready for me probably being horrendously overthrown. Very likely to be overthrown. How are you all doing, everyone? I hope you are all doing well. Hope things are good. Join Owl. Cav, you cannot join the Owl faction. Hello, how are you today? I hope you're all doing good. So, Cav, we are not playing as the Buck Rampage dynasty. We are playing as a different dynasty now. Aren't you excited? I hope so. Let me guess. No more counts. Yeah, people didn't want counts. If you're curious, we have barons, chiefs, and grandees. But they're cool, right? Cav is the like catastrophically mad. No counts, you finally managed to stake all the vampires. Hello, Ziggy Zap, how you doing? I hope you are doing well. We rolled for which one the final faction would be, and it was the Grandees. Things are, shall we say, not going great for our king. Not going great at all. Doing good. Had a good Star Wars TTRPG session this morning. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad it went well. Ah, dear. Are you all ready for me doing incredibly well today? It'll go great. Everything will go fine. Nothing will be wrong. It will all be fantastic. None of this might be the case. It in fact might go incredibly poorly. We noped our way to victory. We did last time. We did. The last monarch so far of the Buck Rampage dynasty did indeed nope their way to victory. We banned everything. We banned crab sales. We banned the smuggling of them. We said no to dancing. We said no to everything. And we won. We absolutely won. Like, it was weird. Our authority and stability... We even banned the counts, yeah. The counts are gone. We banned them. Like, the next dynasty, no count. We said no to wizards twice. We did. Well, we said no to dealing with wizards. We were like, we are not dealing with a wizard. Gonna have a Kingdom of Nope 2 with an opening? No. No, I could show you what the kingdom's like if you like. I could show you in vivid detail how things are inevitably going to deteriorate. They are massively going to deteriorate. And then people were like, oh no. You should be afraid. You should be afraid. It's only gonna go downhill from here, everyone. Breathing is important. It is! Breathing is incredibly important. Remember to breathe, everyone. This is your reminder to breathe. I hope you're breathing. We're supposed to breathe? Yes! Yes, you are. I'll show you what everything's like right now. I will show you. You cannot have dueling. You can't. Instructions unclear, turning purple. Well, good news. Eventually you'll fall unconscious and you will automatically start breathing. Hello, Sonia. How you doing? Yawning usually counts as breathing? I mean, yeah, but you're not always going to be yawning. You're not always going to be yawning. This is when Cav madly starts creating other people. Yeah, rescheduled my game to get to this stream. That is incredibly awesome of you, Sonia. You didn't have to. I forgot I have no money. Yeah, you might not have money. That is a thing. Hello, Roga. How are you doing today? This is a dynasty that is, destined for failure. Last time we did pretty well with our other dynasty, but this is a new one. Consider the fact that when we started my previous king last king of the previous dynasty, we had a military with all three of the separate areas of one. Not one each. One. I turned that around pretty quickly. I turned that around exceptionally quickly. I'll give it a little bit to wait for other people to join. Then we'll wait in the kingdom screen so that you can see how things are doing. Or not doing, as the case may be, because they'll probably be terrible. They'll probably be terrible. Hello, Thrithland. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope things are going good. Are we all ready for King Kiran to absolutely get destroyed? Because that will completely happen today. That's what this game is all about. The puns! Guess the game says I should be a grandee again. Apparently so. You are apparently a grandee. Better than yesterday, but still sick. I'm sorry to hear that you are unwell. I hope you get well soon. I noticed Cav has not joined yet. Is Cav secretly creating some people? Help, I'm stuck doing a mandatory training. That is unfortunate, Alias. I sadly cannot assist. I sadly cannot assist. I'm getting some dinner. Well, you have time. You have time. Let's actually begin and I'll show you what the kingdom's like. You'll be assigned the place you chose, indeed. If you already have a person, you will be that person again. Join he- Oh! Oh, oh, that is a fancy chief. You are very fancy, Cav. Let us begin and just show you what the kingdom's like. So... Oh, it's a grandee. Sorry, my bad. Now, interestingly, as far as, like, the bad news is, so you're on your first lair. You're on your second lair, so we're probably in trouble. Won't be able to play, too tired from work. Well, that's fine. I mean, these things happen. I would appreciate you being here for as long as you can be here. Home to that game. The bat murdered me. Yep. The bat did indeed murder me in that game. That is true. A true statement. The bat did murder me. So yeah, things look like they're going well. They're not really going well. If Chiefs win, I'm willing to bet faith drops a lot in other places. It might do. It might do. I look forward to seeing a Chief victory. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. But I'll attempt to be here as long as possible. Who else will try to kill Kiko with reckless abandon? Everyone? Everyone but me? I am possibly the only... You know, I do wonder what the final thing for... Ooh, what will the final thing for this be? It's a team effort. Well, kind of yes and kind of no. I always have to remind people, I'm trying to win, you're trying to win, but you're not a collective there. The Grandees are trying to win, the Chiefs are trying to win, and the Barons are trying to win. You're all individually trying to win. Only one person can win, only one side can win in the end. You losing is the viewers winning. Not quite. Again, because you're all split up into different factions. And then it just leads to the fact that you then have the faction that won then supporting the king or queen that is put in charge, and then it ends up being a faction and me against two factions. But if you're on the losing team, may as well set up for the next game. I mean, you imply that you have more control over what happens than you think. 'Cause you really don't. I can really end up finding a way to stuff everything up for everyone. There are also some people who just end up helping the king. This is true. Some end up just helping the king. Because trust me, if you're on the warpath, I can absolutely make sure that I can make your faction miserable. This is the fun part. It's like, if you're solely intent on not giving me what I want, you can win, but you will rule over a kingdom of ashes. This can happen.
Mayhem! Yippee!
And Urbis subbing for a year can also happen. Thank you ever so much. That is so absurdly kind of you. Thank you. That truly is good of you. Thank you. It's not always good for the farms. It's not always good for the farms. There needs to be people to actually run them. My faction was nowhere near winning, I just voted for what was funny. The ultimate thing as well is you have to remember that the game is ultimately about having fun. And yeah, having fun, it's a game, it's a me versus you game, but it's a cooperative storytelling game as well. And one of the worst things you can do in a cooperative story game is have the person who's telling the story end up having a miserable time. That is not a good way to go about doing things. Not recommended. They tried to stab the king last time. They tried to stab the king in one of the rebellions. It didn't go that well. They tried. There was an attempt. But I hope you are all, as I say, ready and raring to watch as the Chiefs win. Unless the Chiefs end up having a final objective that is incredibly difficult to achieve. This could happen. Because if there's one thing I've actually been really good at doing, it's balancing Defiance. Defiance is actually really low. Defiance is really low. Do we have a spouse yet? Yes. We do have a spouse yet. We do have a spouse. We're actually working towards an heir. Which probably won't happen, as we'll likely just instantly lose. But hey, if we instantly lose, that just means we get to start the next dynasty. Or rather, the next person in this dynasty. Bacon and cheese sounds good, but I've had dinner. I cannot have more food. That's the objective. Keep Defiance under 4 for 4. Actually, no. Typically, the final phase is you have to achieve something, and then you instantly win. It won't be under 4. It'll be like, have Defiance at 0, or have Defiance incredibly high, or something. No, it wouldn't be 4. It'd be something like 7. Like, 4 is too easy to achieve. Compare the other final objectives, like have wealth under 1,000, have wealth over 5,000, have an authority of 9. Those are sort of final objectives we've seen before. But who has the least? That would be the Barons. They have 1 less. Yeah, I don't think Defiance would be a final stage. It's too variable. Now, they've already had faith. They've already had faith. They've had military, so it would be something incredibly different. Defiance is the final stage of the rebellion scheme. Yeah, this is not the rebellion scheme. This is the hornblower scheme. And there's the modernization scheme. Which they're about to achieve, by the way. Well, we will find out in about 3 minutes. We'll find out in about 3 minutes. This is when it's like, you must have farming at 10. And then you're like, oh dear. Or farming at 0. It wouldn't be, yeah, it could be lowering kingdom stats or raising kingdom stats. Where's the crabs when you need them? Not here, because we don't have the patricians. Because the patricians aren't in this game, there will be no crab event. This is a crab-free kingdom, I might add. Crabs are indeed banned. There are no crabs. There are crubs. They're like crabs, but not. Final stage is lower the number of bees. Then a special bee counter appears. Yeah, crub, you know. What happened to patricians? The who? The who? Chat be planeswalking indeed. I don't know who they are. This kingdom has always had the north, the south, and the march. That's all it's had. And you know what? It actually makes sense. The north is in the north, the south is in the south. And that actually makes sense. Isn't that funny? The marches in the south as well. Yeah, but they're not called the marches of the south. Yeah, but you know, what even is a march? I mean, it's when you walk. I know it's not what you mean. It might just be a misspelling of marsh. Yeah, could be. Could be. You know what time it is, folks. That's right. It's time for awful. It's time for awful. As soon as it hits 7. So actually, a frontier or border between 2 territories actually makes sense.
I'm rich.
Whoa! There's Sam tipping $25 there. Just wanted to share my thanks again for Yukiko. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you ever so much, Sam. That is really kind. Also, Just as a note, 2 more things have been added to the throne wish list if you're curious. Exclamation mark throne brings that up. Thank you ever so much, Sam. It's awesome of you. Far away at a small castle near the edge of the kingdom, the Baron's plot is gaining pace. Ah! The kingdom's militaries are in shambles. Those pansies couldn't fight their way through a field of rabbits. I've drafted the reform proposals as planned. The council will be more than happy to follow our lead. Good, but we must ensure they don't get skittish. The kingdom must be stable for our proposal to work. Grand. A calm before a storm. For the next stage, they must raise their stability to 5 or more in 2 seasons. Well, one of these is going to happen. Darn it. But, unbeknownst to the rest of the kingdom, a great battle has taken place in the frozen wastes. Chief, Shingaglemma staggers home to his clan hall, where Lumi is waiting. It is done. The ice giants have been defeated, at great cost. Behold, the Horn of Odheld. As he brandishes the horn, the room goes silent. A crooked old ram's horn by the looks of it, but as big as a person's head and inlaid with gold and ancient runes of power. By each and every god. This horn has the power to collapse buildings, cause earthquakes, even destroy mountains. We must assemble the other chiefs at once to decide on how it will be used. Lower others' farming, lower authority. There are your choices! Lower farming or lower authority. It seems like we're going for lower authority. Sneak into the capital, the palace, and collapse it on the monarch's head. A bit too sneaky for my liking, but it'll get the job done. We best make sure security is lax enough for us to sneak in. I'm sure we can convince the king to relax a few restrictions here and there. For the good of the realm, of course. For the final stage of the scheme, you must lower authority to 5 or less. Also, meanwhile, deep in the south, a grandee paces along the balcony of his hillside villa. It's just not enough. The peasants love Xenovan and believe the miracles, but they won't rise up to put him on the throne. They'll come around. The king's golden age can't last forever, can it? The grandees aim to lower stability to 4 or less. Well... Yeah. I could get a bit of money. You're still very loyal. This is fine. Roving hunters, eh? My money I just got. No! Your Majesty, 2 barons are on their way home from an epic hunt and seek shelter for the night. In exchange, they're willing to gift you a rare trophy, provide meat or an extravagant feast if you wish. Tell me more about these barons. Their names are Golden Eulogy and Welcome to Tiny Train World. As for this particular hunt, it's an ancient Marcher tradition, something about trekking to all 4 corners of the kingdom to claim a bounty for the great animal spirits. Bring them in and set the tables! The table is set for a delectable feast. Though your husband doesn't join, you enjoy the company of the 2 barons while the storm rages outside. The meat they provide is said to come from their latest kill, Hortusk, an ancient boar the size of a castle. You're not sure you believe their story, but it certainly tastes better than anything you've had for a long time. But later that night, you hear strange noises coming from their quarters, like a pig, squealing and snorting. What on Celeste Ath did they bring in here? You creep down the corridors and push open the door. The former barons stand before you, transformed into hideous porcine beasts that stand on 2 legs, with snout, tusks, and floppy pink ears. Your Majesty! Don't look at us! What in the devil is wrong with you? It was the meat, my liege. We hunted and butchered an ancient legendary beast. We were told it was cursed, but we were also told devouring the beast, the spirit of the forest itself, would bestow great power. We never thought this would be our reward. But I ate the meat as well. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. This is the first time this has happened. And we have been eating this meat for days now. Perhaps a single meal is not enough to trigger the curse? I won't tell anyone, but you have to leave. Right now. You hurry the barons to one of your hidden passages. They go without a word, not wanting to argue with your decision. Once outside, you bid them farewell. With as much sincerity as their hideous faces can muster, they vow to repay your kindness. I am a good and just king. Your Highness, I have returned! You don't feel the need to dance, do you? No, Your Majesty, I have returned unharmed. The plague has run its course, and the people are alive, though I fear I will never dance again. Well, that's good news. Aye, Your Highness. Humbly, I ask the Council to lift the quarantine so the march can return to normal. Lift the quarantine or decree a permanent quarantine? I think people want the quarantine gone. I think that's a good idea. What happens when you veto and nobody votes? I get to pick because it's 0 and 0 and everything's tied. A vote of 0 tied at 0 is still tied, and I have the deciding vote. Well, that seems pretty conclusive. The barons are grateful, and the formerly quarantined merchants are soon trudging gracelessly through the kingdom. Although the former dancers will never be the same, the region gradually returns to business as usual. One man. Kiko is the one man with one vote. Ooh, petition. My jousting victories have made me famous across the march. In fact, the people in my hometown, Laganitz, want to build a statue in my honor. You'll donate to the project, won't you? Will I? I don't think we're going to build a statue for you. No. No. Jousting is tiresome now. We should have more popular project, like rowing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, people are voting for rowing. Who's the one baron that voted for rowing? Faramir voted for rowing. Let's see if this works. The struggling marcher masses are more interested in self-preservation than a new sport. Rowing does not catch on. Darn it! No, I think I'm fine with what I've got here. Interesting! This season is nothing but personal events. Your Highness, the Barons of the March plan to have the Council push through a number of military reforms. For the good of the kingdom, they say, but the reforms are designed to consolidate marcher control over our ranks. What can I do? The Barons are waiting for a period of stability that will allow you to pass necessary amendments while everyone's guard is down. Unless there are some drastic developments in the next few months, I predict the Barons will be proposing these military reforms very soon. You bring the revelation, which the Barons wholeheartedly deny, to the Council. Your Majesty, did you get attacked by a werebeast again? No! Stall the military reforms with a coast of legal quibbles. Barons vote A, apparently. No, Barons are voting B. Which has the side effect of improving stability even further, thus meaning that the third thing of the Grandee's second one doesn't come into power. It's alright. You call upon the best legal scholars in the kingdom. Your Chancellor digs deep into the dusty records to find any laws that might be to your advantage. The Barons will no doubt push past each obstacle with enough effort, bribery and coercion, but the Council has at least bought you time. The Baron's stat will not be elevated until the end of the next season. Okay, that's fine. Your Highness, Your Majesty, Chief Ziggyzaf has been having prophetic dreams. It is true. I can part the veil betwixt now and some ways off. Give me a prophecy, then. I look into the future, and it speaks to me. Through me, no more, no less. For instance, Grandee Cav 2K should beware of birds for the next season. You heard that, Cav! Beware of birds! So long, Templar. And I saw a vision of Chief Roger Poppy 70's body floating away on dark water. What? Gods be good! Please, Your Greatness. Have him foretell the future for the Council. We would gain insight into great mysteries. Make Ziggyzaf the official Council Advisor. I mean, that's hilarious. Also a terrible idea. We ain't doing it. Nope. Denied. That lowers authority. These guys are gonna win if authority gets too low. I have to think about my dynasty. I also have to think about letting the visions go through. Just this once. Begin the visions. Also, we're at nearly 10 stability. Very stable. Just this once. Chief Ziggyzaf spreads a dark velvet cloth onto the floor, sits cross-legged and closes his eyes. After a moment's silence, he gasps. The gods are good, Your Highness! Something wonderful beyond the veil! Let me gather myself so I may understand what lies ahead. Peace, Your Majesty. I see it spreading like silk across the land. Treat good fortune with wisdom, Your Highness, for luck turns like a blizzard in the mountains. Beaming, Chief Cirrus whisks him out. You think you spot a couple of coins chasing hands, but you can't be sure. Sure enough, the Chancellor soon reports a new tax treaty with Ashmead that puts the kingdom at a great advantage. Ziggyzaf must have known what he was talking about. However, over the course of the spring, you find yourself plagued with horrific dreams. You're running through open woods full of screams as your colossal jaws bite beast and human alike. You are always hunting, always hungry. The Council has noticed your lack of sleep as you become tired and irritable during court sessions. Something must be done. Go hunting. You set out on your steed and spend the weekend preying on game in the Black World. A dark and ancient forest not far from the capital. Yet strange urges creep in, like you want to jump on your prey and rip them apart with your own teeth. The dreams only grow more vivid. That's fine! It's fine! It's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. Oh look, I have an heir! Your quest for an heir is finally complete. You stand before the council, holding a child in your arms. Should I die, I ask the crown be passed on to... The council hall is filled with nervous silence. My child. The The assembled nobles break into polite applause. By designating an heir, you've cemented the stability of the kingdom. Your Highness, may I be the first to congratulate you on the birth of your child. What will be their name? Kiran too, of course. We are blessed, Your Highness. I'm sure little Kiran too will be chip off the old block. They didn't eat any of that meat, by the way, did they? Why do you ask? No reason. Congratulations on finding an heir. Now you must fulfill your ambition. However, sigils and stones. Your Majesty, unfortunately there have been some strange things happening at the newly built stadium, but I'd rather keep it quiet for now. The other nobles can be so judgmental. I don't want people to think I don't have a grip on my stadium. We'll keep it quiet. Gods bless you, Your Majesty. Odd symbols are being painted on the bricks of the stadium. No one knows where they're coming from, but those who stare at them grow restless and flee. What should we do, Your Highness? It's horrible for visitors. Just paint over them. Chief Thrithland hires some peasants to give a fresh lick of paint to the stadium. As soon as the new symbols appear the next dawn, they're painted over before midday. That went smoother than I expected. Hopefully this is the last we'll hear of it. Oh, I'm sure we will. It'll be fine. Oh dear. Your Holiness, a blacksmith in the south has come up with some sort of printing contraption. Instead of relying on painstaking effort of scribes, produce 100 copies of text in an hour. How remarkable. Yes, Your Holiness, isn't technology wonderful? Why, I heard from a person in a town that had 2 houses and a lab that technology can do all kinds of things. Then a little boy went off and had adventures where he found monsters and put them into small spheres. Well, that just sounds farcical, I know. The silly tales people come up with. Don't you see how dangerous this is? Books should stay in the churches and universities, or else commoners will start getting ideas. Right, anyone who's not the chiefs doesn't want A or C. And I'm going to make this easy because we're gonna get rid of one of these. Which one do I want to get rid of? Probably that one? So, anyone who's not a chief doesn't want to vote for C. You want to combine on something that isn't C. Like B. B's good. I mean, the chiefs universally voted. I see Cav there sneaking in with his little vote. Well done there, Cav. Whew. Crisis averted, maybe. It will be my pleasure to take stewardship of this radical new invention. Over the next few months, the church pumps out thousands of new copies of Benights God's holy book. Soon every commoner owns one, even those who can't read. Unfortunately, the church also prints countless pamphlets criticizing your rule and calls you a godless simpleton. Thanks. We're okay, though. For now. After several rounds of deliberation, the council approves wide-ranging reforms to the kingdom's standing armies. The barons are the major contributors to this new model army, having volunteered their expertise and manpower to these trying times. Their newfound authority brings riches to the march. Merchants seeking to sell arms, mercenaries seeking employment, and even young peasants looking to defend their kingdom. Meanwhile, in the foreboding March of Fortress, the barons are celebrating. Ha! I can hardly believe they went for it! This is all well and good, but we've not won yet. We must make our final preparations before we take control. Raise military or lower authority? Oh no! What happens when 2 people win at the same time? Interesting. Well, the good news is... Grand! It's settled then. With our new model army in control of the kingdom's military, we need only knock the king down a few more notches to force abdication. For the final stage, you must lower the... Oh! Oh, you've got to lower it to 4! So, you actually now need to work to stop the chiefs! Because you can't win before they win! Right, I wholeheartedly recommend that anyone who isn't the chiefs ensures that B doesn't win. You don't want B. You want something else that isn't B, and something else that isn't B, because if B wins, the chiefs win. Ain't got no money. That's true. So you need F and something else. Because this will literally just be the win for the chiefs. If you didn't tax the barons so harshly... There is also the grandees, I might add. There's also the grandees. No, because if I give you too much money, you have too much power. You will not take good care of the kingdom. At all. Well, that's the end of that, potentially. Oh no! Rumblings of change. Yep, here we go. This is gonna hurt. The council session starts like any other. You're supposed to be debating subsidies for Radiating Shark and the barons, but the chiefs are nowhere to be seen. I don't have time for this. My thoughts exactly. Please, your highness, let us begin without them. I doubt they will have anything useful to contribute anyway. You stand up to address the nobles. Just as you're about to call for council into session, there's a wobble. Not a little wobble, mind you. This entire building is shaking wobble. Earthquake! In the capital? Surely not, but then... What? Before he can say anything more, there's another wobble. This time, it's more violent and loud. The chandeliers jingle, then shake madly. A crack in the masonry appears in a nearby column, then travels up, all the way to the arched ceiling. The stone column splits, starts to fall. Your Majesty, watch out! These are load-bearing columns! I will dive out the way. You dive! A great slab of stone shatters the marble flooring where you'd been standing a moment ago. Everyone descends into panic, shouting and running for the exit. Only your chief architect still stands, wailing loudly to anyone who'll hear. The palace! Who could do this to my beautiful palace? I have to go back for my child. You rush towards the stairs, ignoring the cries of the nobles and advisors. You have to make sure your heir is safe. But the palace is still shaking. Just as you're about to climb up the stairs, there's another rumble from deep below. In the distance, is that the sound of a horn? The masonry is coming apart at an alarming rate. Chunks of rocks are falling on your head, even as you try to duck and run for cover. That's when it hits you. Actually, that's when two things hit you at once. The first is the realization that the chiefs have usurped you in the most destructive way possible. The second is a big stone slab. Everything goes dark. What now? When you finally come to, someone has lifted rubble off your shaking body. Through blurred vision, you make out a figure. Chief Shinga Glamour. Gods, you're alive! Praise Morgana! He laughs heartily. Now I can finish you off myself. What happened to my child? Collapsing buildings aren't good for the health of young children. A shame it has to be this way. If you're going to kill me, you should get it over with. Gladly. Lumi will be a better ruler than you could ever hope to be, Kirin, and this is the last loose end. His axe raises into the sky, glints in the starlight, then falls. King Kirin's dramatic demise passed into northern legend. Whenever a tyrant rises in the old capital, the chiefs smirk and pray to Oddheld. The barons' revolutionary plans for their new model army were quietly shelved, but not forgotten. Those blueprints will surely come in useful someday. The grandees prayed and prayed for a miracle to place Xenophon in his rightful place on the throne, but no miracle came. With their spectacular destruction of the palace, the chiefs quite literally smashed anyone who could claim the throne. Anyone except, of course, Lumi, who was crowned atop a heap of rubble the very next day. But their reign is a story for another time. Yeah! You killed a child! Well done! Saprook redeemed the Avatar tax. He's gonna need it to build that castle back. Thank you ever so much. That was so kind of you. Thank you. The Avatar's greatly appreciative of your kind generosity. King Kiran the Lawgiver. Wealthiest noble is the Master Gregster. Poorest is Saprook. This is the kingdom, by the way. Not the worst kingdom, not the best kingdom. But it's alright, because guess what? We carry on exactly where we left off. Because we're only 20 minutes in. We carry on. Now, chiefs, you have to see if you can hold on to the throne. Let's see if you can keep it. What a formidable fortress crumbles to dust. Right. There's a lot of chiefs. So, kingdom is back to 5 and 5. A pile of rubble. Your Majesty, you don't exactly have a palace anymore. You do, however, have a lot of debris on some spectacularly valuable real estate. Aye, and whose fault is that, you pagan chiefs and your silly horn? Let's not sling blame. We just need a plan on how we can rebuild. Build a perfect reconstruction of what came before, construct a longhouse in the northern style, cheap out on materials. The chiefs can fund the new palace. We'll see what happens. Oh no! You break it, you buy it, chiefs. I was never going to be able to stop that. We broke it. We bought it. You did. Ha! You broke it, you bought it. Exactly, Tiny Train. Fine, we'll fund your new palace, your greatness, but we'll build it our way. Ooh, I seldom get a chance to work in the northern style. Log walls, fur rugs, boring braziers. I'll drop some blueprints. Rapid work begins on the new palace. As the longhouse takes shape, a wave of dread passes through the city. It feels like an enemy occupation. Your Majesty, you may have won the throne from King Kiran, but you must still answer to the council. As a tradition, they will decide what happens at your coronation. But this is our coronation! I mean my coronation! We tooted the horn and everything! This isn't an absolute monarchy, Your Majesty. Everything has to run past the council. Even this. Shall we call the nobles in? Hold a pagan ceremony! Throw the monarch in the river. Oh dear! We could end with a really low stability at the start of this. Oh boy! Religion ain't a thing that this place has right now. This also raises defiance. This could be very violent. And very short. You hold a traditional northern ceremony atop a heap of rubble where the palace used to be. Of course, that means you're stripped nude, flogged with birches, and bathed in goat's blood while a god-speaker chants the ancient rites of Morgana. It's all thoroughly pagan. The church is outraged, and so are the common folk. They should just be grateful you didn't include the ritual sacrifice. Ah! Uh-oh. Okay, it's done that thing again. Hang on. Hang on, we know how to fix this. There we go! I did it! Your Majesty, the history books do not look kindly upon usurpers, unless, of course, they prove themselves worthy of the throne they have stolen. When you die, how will you hope the kingdom will remember you? As a conqueror! We conquered and we'll conquer again! A warrior monarch is sure to be remembered fondly, if they win more battles than they lose. I don't know exactly. I think so, yes. Yes. I suggest over the next few years you focus on improving the kingdom's military as much as possible. Once you have an heir, I'll discuss how the ambition is progressing. Good luck, Your Majesty. Ah, Adelis of the Bonfiem bloodline, powerful marcher trapper, stands before a blazing hearth, shouting and swearing. When are the barons of the march back down from a fight? Never! I know you'll do whatever it takes to put me, your rightful monarch, on the throne with my fantastic beard. Sorcery? Intimidation? Oh dear, propaganda looks like an interesting one. Oh, propaganda looks like an interesting one for you. I think you've got that one in the bag. Ooh. By the way, this is the first time last time an actual scheme worked. Oh dear. The barons want to persuade the population that only a charismatic general can protect them. First, the common folk must be afraid. To advance a scheme, you must lower stability to 4 or less in 3 seasons. Okay, we only need stability to go up by 2, everyone. We just need 2 stability. The old dragon would like a faction check. Well, you're a grandee. Vic of the Cirrus Mad DJ clan, well-known northern rascal, stands precariously on a longhouse crossbeam, screaming like a fallen god. Morgana is with us! Lumi now sits on my throne and my chiefs are in charge, but the other regions will already be scheming to depose them. Do we stay loyal to the new monarch, or cut our losses and put me on the throne instead? Loyalist, doppelganger, or prophecy? Oh, looks like you're staying loyal. Okay, we have a loyalist chief's faction. So loyalists need to raise stability. Mr. One's like, no! Don't want to stick with them. Aid the monarch. That settles it then. Long live the monarch! May they bring glory to Morgana. But we can always change our minds. If Lumi ever gets out of line, we can take up arms and get rid of the old-fashioned way. You aid the monarch by countering the other region's schemes as much as possible, which means raising stability. Which you lowered dramatically. They will win if the monarch produces an heir and completes their ambition. However, if defiance gets too high, they can still change their minds and rise up in rebellion. Pasquale with the linguistic dragon lineage is bathed in sunlight. A false pretender occupies the throne while my claim is ignored. Grandees of the South, this is a stain on our honour. We must not allow it to go unanswered. Raise treasury, raise farming, lower stability. Oh dear. Right, you're not going to be doing very much with lowering stability right now. I feel like we might instead... Okay, chiefs, let's focus instead on improving the military. How about that? We're not going to stop that. The grandees plan to persuade the archbishop to excommunicate the monarch. First, they must lower royal credibility. To advance their scheme, you must lower stability to 4 in 2 seasons. Ah, but you're only united until the second phase of the scheme comes in, because they will be different. What do we want? Anonymous voting could be fun. But also Royal Gamble seems pretty amusing. Packaging's in. And Ziggy Zap's in. You want on the bribes us? Well, I can't explain what happened. See, what we can do is we can end the season. Yours has gone out as well. What we'll do is we'll start the new season, we'll quit out, we'll load back in. We'll see if that works. I'm gonna take that. What we'll do is we'll quit out. We'll go back in. See what happens. Everybody who joined before will be remembered. This should solve the issue. In theory. That worked. Excellent. We'll begin again. Alright. Contentious sale, a fishy wedding, my honor guard. Good news, your majesty. I received a vision. I saw you bathed in holy light, blades and missiles crumbling to dust before they could reach you. You do not need to recruit an honor guard. The ninth god will shield you from all harm. I've never seen a ninth protect someone from a sword through a chest. You need tangible guards, your majesty. Who do I want? You want the North backing you? Actually, right now I'm a little worried about rebellions. Watch the nuns explode again! What about the Marsh Warriors? These soldiers have fought more battles than they've had hot dinners. They're a little uncouth, no doubt. They won't adapt well to the life in the palace, but they're loyal and tough as nails. I made my decision. Wait with bated breath, your majesty. We're going with the veterans of the march. All of these lower faith. How could you choose them? I will make the arrangements at once. I think that should have had the Inquisitor. Foolishness! Do you not trust in the protection of a ninth? This kingdom grows more faithless by the day. The veterans arrive a few weeks later. They march into the throne room in perfect formation before lining up behind your throne, hands on their sword hilts. Each soldier sports a bigger scar than the last. Your Majesty, the Archduke of Saal has invited you to his forthcoming wedding. Your attendance would shore up relations between our two great nations. Gods above, great nation! The island of Saal is nothing more than a nest of pirates and cutthroats. And I heard it isn't even a proper marriage anyway. The Archduke is marrying a fish. The groom is a finfolk, one of the denizens of the sea, perfectly sapient and actually amphibious. Well, the church doesn't agree to a man marrying a fish. We mustn't legitimize this farce by allowing the monarch to attend. Ah, we're going to attend the wedding, are we? It seems like a good idea. I wholeheartedly approve. Of course we will attend. Excellent! The wedding is scheduled for next year. I'll inform the Archduke you shall be delighted to attend. This kingdom is sliding into madness. When you announce that you will attend the wedding, the grandees are naturally scandalized. But the peasants, sentimental as ever, are in favour of your decision. Public opinion turns against the overly strict church. Ooh, a contentious sale. Your Majesty, this is an outrage. Baron Radiating Shark is trying to steal my bear from under my nose. Your what? Did you say bear? It's not his bear! I was about to buy this beast from an adventurer in Matadlands when Chief Fenrir Frost turned up shouting and raving about Skuranon. Tell me about this bear. She's a magnificent specimen. She'll be a great addition to my menagerie. And who is Skuranon? The northern goddess of medicine and knowledge. The bear wears her mark upon her brow, clear as day. I suppose this is a matter for the council. Mark my words, if this bear is not brought to the north where she belongs, there'll be trouble. Encourage a bidding war. If it is sacred, Fenrir Frost should have the bear. Finders keepers, Radiating Shark can have the bear. I think we should have Chief Fenrir should have the bear. That's my gamble. I can't veto anything. I can't veto. I think everybody is... Oh! Oh no! Oh no, a bidding war! Looks like we're having a bidding war, everyone! We shall vote for the bear! Oh no! In a furious back and forth, the nobles battle it out for ownership of the bear. Eventually, Chief Fenrir wins out. The Tadlands adventurer is delighted and goes away with more money than she knows what to do with. Naturally, the barons aren't happy to have lost their potential zoo exhibit, but there's little they can do. The bear turns out to be a fearsome creature with bright white fur and intent green eyes, and she's vast. Even on all fours, she stands taller than a wagon. She's transported north slowly and carefully, sedated by special herbs and followed by a stream of worshipping villagers. Chief Fenrir Frost is delighted that Skuranorn's will has been done. Yay! Okay. I mean, I don't need to tell you what I think we should vote for. I think we should vote for A and C. This seems like... No, A and... Just A. A and F. There we go. A and F. Got kicked out of a roll again? I can't help you if that's the case, sadly. I don't have control over the widget. Yeah, A and F. Why not? This seems good. No, not C. Not B. These are the opposites of things. You do have next to no money. I haven't had the option to give you money. I mean, A and B is acceptable. Like, I can't give you cash. I literally can't. B and E. That is awful. Oh dear. The Archbishop's fury? You're enjoying a peaceful breakfast when the Archbishop barged into your dining hall, waving a scrap of paper. Your Majesty, this is an outrage! This was nailed to the door of the cathedral this morning by some two-bit priest called Smote Lemongrave. Great name. It's short for, May I smote by the ninth if I ever prove unworthy. A religious name. A religious family, the Lemongraves. Anyway, his name is not important. This is an essay decrying the church, making all sorts of fantastical accusations. Like, he claims we're corrupt because we're selling premium tickets to a cushy afterlife at 100 gold a pop. And he wants the church to officially change the fourth sentence on page 118 of the holy books that it forbids selfishness instead of elfishness. He claims it's a typo, just because elves aren't real. He even criticizes my hat. Says it's a bit much. How dare he? Smells like heresy to me, your majesty. I can have a pyre built in the city square before noon. Smells like oh, dearie me, all of these are bad. Well... ban churchy hats. Oh my word, are we going to go for a zero stability ending? We might. Just burn everything down. Oh dear. Oh dear. Darn it. Indeed, Sonia. Track down Smote Lemongrave and have him burned at the stake. Before the end of the day, Smote Lemongrave is tied to a stake in the city square. As the flames lick at his feet, he shouts that his words will not die with him. He's right. A splinter faction of a church uses a newfangled printing press to churn out thousands of copies of a so-called martyr's missive. Lemongrave's criticisms ring true to the peasantry, especially in light of his persecution. Maybe selfishness is bad. Maybe even worse than being an elf. Soon there are widespread riots across the city, and the church is widely scorned and venal and corrupt. Oh boy! This kingdom's going down the toilet! Your Majesty, it's important to find a spouse sooner rather than later. I'll take a liberty of finding eligible candidates. What's your preference? I'm not interested in love. Are you sure, Your Majesty? The nobles will be most upset. Surely it behooves you to look at some options. Oh, fine. Women, sure. Thank you, Your Majesty. I'll send out messengers to the most influential nobles in the kingdom. It's easy enough decision. You're marrying to the chiefs as we agreed before you took the throne, right? Right? Your Holiness, Your Majesty, something most strange has occurred in the Ghost Sea. A new island has arisen halfway between our shores and the island of Sal. The Finn folk raised it from the depths using their weird ocean magic. It's true, Your Majesty. The Finn folk raised the island to celebrate the marriage of their prince to the Archduke of Sal. They will gift it to him on the day of the ceremony. This is terrible news. The island is of immense strategic importance. We can't let it fall into Salish hands. We cannot pay a wizard. You can't vote C, it's not an option, we're too poor. King has never acted as a normal person. That's true! We're trying our best. This is gonna go hilariously terribly. Capital idea! You want me to sleep with the fishes? You needn't go that far, but you're unattached. You'd make a far better match for this Finfo prince than the Archduke of some rainy little island. Very well, I'll seduce the sexy, sexy fishman. We all admire your sacrifice, Your Holiness. Preparations begin for your clandestine visit to one of the Finfolk's undersea villages. Your Chancellor has heard of magic reeds that allow the breather to breathe underwater, but such a thing will take weeks to track down. At least it gives you time to prepare for your underwater visit. And buy some waterproof roses. Oh boy! Meanwhile, in a picturesque castle overlooking the southern city of Serena, two grandees are lying back and enjoying the sun. The city may look peaceful, but underneath it's nothing but discontent. All across the kingdom, peasants are sharpening their cutlery and barricading their shacks. They know a storm is coming, and who better to blame than the monarch themselves? Exactly. The commoners are afraid, and it's time for them to find their faith. Why, the zeal is spreading across the whole kingdom, praying for absolution before the end times. For the next start of the scheme, you must raise all regions' combined faith to a total of at least 10 in 4 seasons. Right, we need to tank that faith. Shouldn't be hard. Not the way we're going. Right, kind tax. Gotta do it. The true believers. Your Majesty, the followers of Smote Lemongrave are only growing more powerful. Now they're calling themselves the United Separatist Church of Radical Reformation and True Belief. Or the True Believers for short. Thank God. What do you expect me to do about it? Do something! It's those accursed printing presses. They're spreading pamphlets across the kingdom faster than we can confiscate them. Even some of my priests are being convinced. What can we do? They want to get rid of me! And my hat! Oh no, not your hat! Fight fire with fire! Print counter pamphlets! Oh no! Have them all burned at the stake, forbid the printing press, allow the pamphlets to circulate. Oh, this is terrible. All of these are bad for the grandees. That's honestly the worst thing to fail. It's gonna be bad either way. It's gonna be awful either way. It's gonna be terrible. Another vote's going through. Bot's dead. Wow, we are not doing very well with this bot, are we? Well, interestingly, it's tied at 0. What would you all have picked? Let's be honest here. What would you all have picked? What did we see here? Can we do a rough head count? I don't know. Put it... Ah, that's a good idea. Put it in a poll. There we go. Oh. Do we go... Poll? Ah, there we go. Okay, okay. Poll. Here we go. We'll have it be a minute. I'll see what happens. Which will we go for? A, B, or C? This is a way we can do it. This actually gets more people involved in the voting. We'll close it and reopen it and see what happens after this season. That said, this could just reduce stability to 0 and we might just die. Bot is as broken as the kingdom. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. We barely started this stream. Anarchy is not good. What is... that is a percentage chance that faith... roll on our faith and see if something happens. Looks like we'd have gone for C. Allow the pamphlets to circulate. A blizzard of anti-church pamphlets flurry across the kingdom. You've never seen the Archbishop look so wretched. The common folk grow panicked and angry. Several churches are burned. The priests are driven out of their villages by stone-hurling mobs. A schism in the church appears inevitable. So, let's see what happens if we continue here. If I do that, what happens? Does it actually have you join? Okay, you can join back. The bot just seems to be really badly misbehaving. I do apologize for this. It's not my fault. I've not done anything, but I don't know what's happening. Bot wants to play too. Bot, no! How long has the game been out? A while. But, you know, things happen. Technical issues do occur. Let's go with the hungry bear. A wondrous bear is thriving in the north, your majesty, just as scurrying on would wish. The god speakers have gained visions of new herbs and medicines ever since she arrived. The gods are good. Can you share this knowledge with the rest of the kingdom? Maybe. I'd have to ask the god speakers about it. It is sacred knowledge after all. The only thing is, she's eating a lot. The hunters have to push into the frozen wastes to find enough food to go round. Having second thoughts, are you? Maybe the bear would do nicer in a cozy menagerie, well, we can't import... Oh, no! Oh, no! It's alright! It's a 15% chance, everyone! 15%! We can do it! Oh boy, this is going dreadfully! Oh wow, this is a catastrophe! The kingdom is just decaying around us. You'll be fine, chiefs! You'll be fine! Oh boy, you won't be fine. Here we go! The chiefs dig into their steep stockpiles, but it's not pleasant living off fermented seal and dried fish for months on end. As the chiefs grow hungrier, so does the bear. Okay, stability is at 1, alright? It's at 1! I have found 3 potential matches for you. 1 eligible young woman from each of the kingdom's 3 regions. Yes, I know. The Chancellor leads you to the Great Hall. We're juggling it, alright? We're juggling it. This is Helga, first-born daughter of the Northern Vorlane clan. She's a typical Northern lass, as far as I can tell. Big and loud, and all the social graces of a goat. But means well. Even among the Northerners, she's made a name for herself as a fearsome warrior. People say she nurses a grudge, though. From the south, Ada, eldest daughter of the DL Dragon lineage. She's reputed to have an ego the size of a sun. But there's nothing wrong with confidence, right? Like any of the South, she claims to put her faith in the ninth god above all worldly concerns. Unfortunately, she lacks the common touch. The peasants have terrible nicknames for her. Finally, we have the March's offering, Henrika, scion of the prestigious Faramir bloodline. And like most of the barons, she can conduct an entire conversation without shouting. And look at her! Stunning! Like most of the barons, her great passion is hunting. No beast is safe from her crossbow. She's got a reputation for not giving a damn about what anyone thinks of her. What do you think? By picking a candidate, she'll anger the other regions, but she'll gain a lifelong alliance. We're gonna marry the one from the south. No. We aren't going to marry the fish man. Excellent. I'll make the arrangements at once. But the rose... Look, if I go with the fish man, we will literally fail, alright? I can have an affair with the fish man, but I can't marry the fish man, okay? Meanwhile, the monarchs settle into their young reign. Well, the monarchs settle into their young reign. A general has risen in the marsh, the indomitable Baron Adelis. Fantastic news, General! Not only have we destabilized the kingdom, we've drummed up recruitment amidst the chaos. The kingdom is in such a state that commoners are begging for somebody to save them. All we need is a suitable boogeyman to get them really riled up. The Ashmedian Empire will do, I should think. After all, they've always coveted our lands, especially in the March. How would our dear monarch stop them with the kingdom in such a state? Good thinking, General. While the campaign warns of Ashmedian threat and proposes a march of defense, we will build an army to back your words. For the next stage, you need to have the highest military in 3 seasons. It might not last that long. Deep in the back rooms of the royal palace, the northern chiefs are poring over secret letters and scribbled diagrams. The monarch has finally found a match, even if it isn't who we'd hoped. Now we just need to get on with the wedding. Aye, get on with the baby making. The kingdom's increasingly unstable, and it's just playing to the grandee's hands. I've heard they're meeting with the archbishop in secret now. Morgana only knows what for. Yet we've got to keep up our efforts. Monarch Lumi isn't going anywhere on our watch. I think we might be. I think we might be. Monarch's vote is rubbish. Right, give me one moment, folks. I'll be right back. Oh, a schism in the church is going to be great. First off, I'm back, by the way. Let's get married. This is critically important. Praise the silly putty. The wedding to Ada is naturally the talk of the kingdom. Nobles and peasants alike travel across the realm to attend. For a week and a day, the capital's one giant party. It feels like you're the only one not taking part. Instead, you're getting ready for the ceremony. Soon enough, you're standing in St. Bertrand's Cathedral with Ada at your side. Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Yes! And I'll pronounce you married in the eyes of the kingdom. Oh, sweet stability! Sweet stability! After the wedding, of course, there's a feast, and after the feast, a dance. At the feast, your new wife Ada delivers a long, rambling speech that puts everyone to sleep. By the time you find yourself alone with Ada, it's past midnight, you've never felt more tired. What a wonderful occasion that was. A shame that tradition demanded we marry at St. Bertrand's Cathedral. I can assure you, the temples in the south are much grander. Hope you're not feeling homesick already. Of course not. I never get homesick, actually. I can't abide people who waste time dwelling on the past. What are your thoughts on the state of the kingdom? Well, you know, the kingdom looks out for itself. She changes the topic and talks about something she's more interested in. I'm just a humble follower of the ninth god, and everywhere I look, I'm surrounded by sinners and heathens. I can't wait to laugh at them in the hereafter. Oh, that's so interesting. It is, isn't it? Anyway, to continue on with the subject, you gently fall asleep to the sound of Ada droning on about herself. Meanwhile, a schism. The Archbishop arrives to see you. You've never seen him look so defeated. The priests are at each other's throats over this true believer nonsense. The commoner folk are going over to them in droves. I think the church is going to split in two. Please, can the council help me stop this madness? The Inquisition is too small, that's the problem. Triple my numbers. No, quadruple. I need an army. Ooh! You know, there is a part of me that wants to sit back and let it happen. There's a part of me that wants to sit back and let it happen. There really is. There's a part of me that just screams, mayhem! Why? Because it's funny! Or I could be reasonable and do A. I mean, A is reasonable-ish. Kind of. But I'm gonna let you decide, but I'm gonna go raw gamble with D. Because if nothing else, it'll be hilarious if this goes through. But the mayhem people... Oh, people are voting for the sensible option. They're voting for the Oh! Mayhem not averted! Oh, yes! Here we go! In the end, the war between the Church and the True Believers ends in a stalemate. The True Believers set up a vast enclave in the March with its own laws and government. This actually worked out for me! I can't believe it worked out! The Church has never been weaker, and your own rule is starting to look pretty shaky as well. No! This is brilliant! Schism! It saved my kingdom, the schism! Just no stability loss, please! It's a nervous dance right next to my escape horse, and my escape boat, and my escape spaceship. You cannot see it on the map now. So about that bear! Your Majesty, Chief Fenrir Frost has been eaten by the bear of Skirneron. Uh-oh. I thought that would happen. North just didn't have the food to support the poor creature. The bears hold up in a cave deep within the mountains, Your Majesty. Chief Fenrir Frost's family demands justice. I mean, we could just leave the bear alone. Look, people. If we leave the bear alone, the game won't end. Apparently you want to fight the bear. You're like, yeah, we could take on a bear that's bigger than a wagon, that has magic powers. Are you mad? Do you want to know the funny part about you voting for this? We lose one authority. But I gain one authority. The bear hides in her cave, and though Chief Fenrir Frost's family vows revenge, they don't dare to attack. After all, she's still sacred to Skirneron, no matter how many chiefs she consumes. Whew! 2 stability! We have 2 stability! Ooh! Panic in the council! Your Holiness, I bring bad news from the south. We're receiving reports of... I'm sure your news can wait, but I bring urgent tidings from the north that demand the monarch's attentions at once. Wait your turn, you ignorant dolt. Why don't you settle your quarrels outside? Meanwhile, I have news that the march is really... is urgent. Now, one at a time. The cities of the south are being consumed with riots on a weekly basis. Our citizens want to overthrow the monarch and elect a more competent ruler. Is that all? By the old gods, the north is increasingly lawless, your holiness. Some chiefs have taken advantage, declaring themselves independent of your rule. Well, News is still worse. Order of the march has broken down, your majesty. Some battalions have killed their own officers and begun roving the wilderness, acting like common bandits. All these problems have arisen because the kingdom is increasingly unstable, your majesty. Something must be done. Agreed. What do you suggest? Unfortunately, we lack the resources to tackle all these problems at once. We must vote on which matter to prioritize. Well, I recommend restoring order to the cities of the south, personally. So long, Sonia. I think the south is a good idea. Because also, if we do the marsh, or the chiefs, it's not going to be good. But the south, we can fix this kingdom, people. We're so very far from our scheme that we really don't require being driven further from it. Yeah. Oh, you're all voting for C. Alright. You want C. Thanks to your helpful snitch, your marshal discovers the location of all the outlaw hideouts in the south. Over the next months, the deserters are subjected to swift public trials, followed by an even swifter public executions. The army is depleted, but much more disciplined. I did warn you. I did say, we don't want the marshes one. I did say. The crisis in the marsh has been quashed, making the kingdom a whole more slightly stable. But the nobles of the other regions feel like you're ignoring their problems. Oh, we gained 2 stability from that. Oh, that is good. Greetings, Lumi. I've had an idea. As I'm sure you know, my fellow grandees have been shirking their religious duties a bit recently. Faith in the 9th god would certainly be higher in the south now. The problem is the feeling of disconnection from the church here in the capital. But I think that if a message comes from one of their own, it might make a difference. Want to become a preacher? Not a preacher exactly. Just an ambassador, I suppose, to show them what it means to be the faithful adherent of the 9th god. Will you give me your blessing? Go forth and bring the good word to them. Wonderful! I'll make the preparations immediately. Word spreads fast. The Queen Consort will tour the south. Thousands flock to the towns and villages where she plans to stop. Unfortunately, they are mostly there to throw vegetables. The popularity of the crown in the south clearly isn't as high as Ada had hoped. Oh boy, that religion! It's not long before she calls off a tour to return home, her tail tucked between her legs. I did say she could! The Finn folk send a stagecoach made from a giant clam pulled by seahorses. You equip your magic-breathing reed and hop inside. The clam carriage plunges back beneath the waves and you're whisked down into the murky depths. A few hours later, you arrive at an undersea citadel of kelp-woven huts. The prince meets you in a grand table formed of knotted coral. Tiny finfolk spawnlings swim around your legs as you sit. Greetings, your majesty. We're honored to have such prestigious visitors. This place is amazing. Our whale passes overhead. It's pretty good. So you're here to discuss my betrothal to Archduke Shomo, on the island I'm giving away as a dowry. But why must you give him a dowry? It's a very small island. The Archduke assured me it wasn't worth very much. Service spoke have much land already. Actually, it's worth a huge amount to us. Oh, really? The Archduke told me differently. The island could cause a war between your future husband and I. A war? I can't risk that. Seems my betrothed has misled me about the importance of this island. Such deceit. He's not the man I thought him to be. I will have to call off the wedding. Thank you for clarifying this with me, your majesty. I mean, everybody hates me already. We might as well sleep with the fish, man. Let's have a drink. Offers you a bittersweet wheat beer, which you imbibe through a complex underwater drinking mechanism. For hours, you and he swap stories and commiserate over the hardships of royalty. As the night draws on, you find yourself and the prince getting closer and closer. A touch on the knee, a stroke of the gills. Could you take things further? This isn't what we had in mind when we schemed to have the monarch sleep with the fishes. You spend a pleasurable night with the Finfolk Prince atop a bed of woven kelp. It'll be a night you remember for a long time, but it's over far too quickly. You must return to the surface. As you're spirited back in your clamshell carriage, you feel most refreshed. So how did it go, your majesty? Things got wild. The Chancellor turns a faint shade of red as you describe your encounter with the Finfolk Prince. In that case, we can assume the wedding has been called off. The grandees will be most pleased. "50 Shades of Seaweed." Well, might I recommend Calamity? Are you going to reach 0 across the board for religion? Oh, we probably are, Cav. Everyone's broke. I haven't had the pay people money option yet. It's not happened. We have E and A. Okay, E and A is not awful. Oh boy. You need 10 faith. Faith is 2. Faith is 2. We just need like 2,000 on D. Just 2,000 on D would be fine. A little bit more money on D. But no. It's alright. Faith and military went up. It's still not high enough yet. About your heir. Your marriage to Ada has grown strong and steady. Though it began as a political arrangement, it blossomed into something like love. It's high time you thought about an heir. Well, I mean, obviously, we have concluded that, we'll have a child together. The traditional method. No one will object to that. I mean, I've had a lot of practice. Humans are different to Finn folk, Your Majesty, but we will arrange for you to take a month off. Bad news, my liege. We have suffered an extremely poor harvest in the marsh, and reasonably bad weather is to blame. Ooh! What can we do about it? Not much, Your Majesty. Even a monarch can't control the weather. It'll be a tough winter. Great! So -2 farming. Fashion is cyclical, my liege. An old trend has returned and has swept through the marshes. Bees! Bees? In jewelry, my liege, the buzzing insects can be found trapped in golden tree sap. My marcher artisans use these to adorn necklaces and rings, shining like little gemstones. But my artisans can't keep up with demand, and a glorious trade opportunity slips through our fingers. Doesn't sound fashionable, maybe not, Monarch, but it is profitable. So please humour me, I need bees. Our population in the marsh is dwindling, but you can help. Encourage farmers to focus on beekeeping. They keep the honey, we only ask for the bees lost each harvest. I'll put the matter to the council. Thank you, Your Majesty. I mean, I could do bees. I mean, we can afford a subsidy for beekeeping. You like bees, don't you? Apparently Cav does not approve of bees. Like, no! Nay to the bees. The grandee's like, we will not stand for this bees shenanigans. No bees. Is this a good time, by the way, to mention I have a throne wish list that you can put stuff towards? It's got cool things on it. Oh, buzz off. Oh, I see what you did there. The farmers of the marsh accept your coin. They see this as meddling, but times are hard. Soon the sound of buzzing can be heard across the marsh. As a result, Baron Rackenshin makes a fortune selling amber jewelry to his fellow barons. Hey look! I undid the farming negative. Meanwhile, in the Grand Hall, the number of hunters figures are hunched around the hearth, plotting away. The crowds have been thinning at our rallies. What happened? Shortage of money and manpower throughout the military are making you look weak, General. We're trying our best to plug the gaps, though. Must be quick about it. My speeches can only carry us so far. The Baron's aim is to have the highest military. Meanwhile, the southern plot has slowed to a crawl. Two grandees wade through the water gardens of a sprawling villa, one gesturing angrily at the air as a number of flamingos look on. This won't do at all! How is the Archbishop supposed to excommunicate the monarch where the church can barely support itself? Have faith, friend. The grandees aim to raise all regions' combined faith to 10 or more. Well, I think you need a tax break. And honestly... there we go, everything's all even. Finfolk controversy! Your Majesty, your secret is out. The woodcuts under my bed are purely artistic in nature. No, I'm speaking of your recent love affair with the Finfolk prince. The common folk can talk, nothing else. If every tavern in Milan the bards are singing about it with gusto. Your wife is very upset. She's locked in her quarters crying. So what if everyone knows I'm the monarch? Nevertheless, this is turning into a landmark political scandal. Perhaps the council can see a way to salvage your reputation? I mean... just admit everything! Admit it all! Come on, we just have to tell everyone to admit everything again! Come on, people. You know you want us to just admit that we slept with a fish man. You know it. I was told to seduce the fish folk, man, and I did. Admit everything. This isn't a cause for shame. This isn't a cause for shame! My wife is furious. That's a problem. It'll be fine-ish. Maybe. It won't be fine. So about that, it'll be fine! You stand before a vast crowd of commoners and declare that you're not ashamed. They didn't see that sexy fish man. Any one of them would have done the same. To your surprise, the common folk respond with a full-throated cheer. Stop cheering! The monarch is a lech and a debaucher! They should be atoning for their sins! Shut up, you busybody! The church condemns you, but the peasants are on your side for once. Across the kingdom, more and more ordinary people are striking up relationships with Finfolk and getting married in the shallows. The improved relations between sea and shore are particularly beneficial for the south, where Finfolk happily herd fish into southern nets. Look at your farming, grandees! Look what I have done to your blessed land! Meanwhile... Your Majesty, I bring news from our newly constructed prison in the March. One of the prisoners, a murderous rogue by the name of Cheddar Spurt, has escaped. His location is currently... The double doors bang open. The grubby-looking peasant strikes into the council hall, escorted by an anxious watchman. In this room? Sorry, Your Majesty. He said it was urgent, and he was pretty persuasive. Hello, Psyduck. Your Majesty, I swear I'm innocent. Baroness went to Tiny Train World, threw me in prison on trumped-up charges simply because I didn't like their hat. My liege, I have no idea what this fool is talking about. Ooh. Ooh. I will hear no lies about my hat. It is a fine hat. Alright. You know what? I think A is the best decision here. Actually. However, everyone's going for C. I just didn't want D. D was like a disaster waiting to happen. I'm sort of pulling it back. I'm not pulling it back. My wife is going to leave me because I slept with a fish man. But I was told to. That's not an excuse, though. By the 9th, Your Majesty, you're going to investigate me on the words of this peasant? Your spymaster slips away to investigate the matter. When she returns, she is holding a hat. There's no doubt about it, Your Majesty. I actually quite like the hat. It's stylish, but Cheddar Spurt was imprisoned on spurious charges, simply for insulting it under his breath. Now what are you going to do about it? Just let him go. Well, the common folk celebrate Cheddar Spurt's exoneration. It's also taken as a sign that the monarch's justice is flawed. Later you hear that Cheddar Spurt has turned up dead in the ditch. Came down with a bad case of multiple stab wounds, apparently. Baroness Tiny Train's world swears she isn't to blame. Whatever the case, the common folks certainly blame Welcome to Tiny Train World and lay down their farming tools in process. My farming gains! The winter march has been especially cruel this year, Your Majesty. I can feel it in my bones. Ha! Your barons don't know the meaning of the word cold. Your Holiness, this is no joke. I found the secret is layers. It's not just about me. In the march, the river's frozen and people won't work for fear of frostbite. My butler touched an iron fence post and lost his entire finger. Oh dear. I mean, we could send northern troops to clear the snow. That's actually a good idea. It might work. It might actually work. We have the military for it. Great plan. Brilliant plan. Wow, everyone's voting for it. Thanks for the dosh. Northern mercenaries soon arrive in the march and get to work. Despite being used to the cold, they're freezing and grumpy. They melt some ice using a cunning mirror array, but it quickly freezes again, making the roads of the marsh and slippery death traps. Baron Bonfy demands that they leave before they do any more damage. Whoops! Wow, we are getting, like, nothing. Bees! As usual, I just spent the day praying and listening, as far as you as possible. But after you've eaten your separatist, she barges in. I thought being married to a monarch would be delights and luxury, but not this. I deserve far better. I insist on a divorce. Thank the 9th. We can stop pretending. Pretending? By the 9th, if you've been pretending, you haven't been doing it very well. Every time we talk, it ends the same way, with you stamping down everything I wish for. This is never going to work. It's over now, for good or ill. I call for the Archbishop to witness the divorce ceremony. Well, good evening, Your Majesty. I know this is awkward, but I'm sure this all goes as smoothly as possible. Does the Archbishop ever make things thus awkward? I live to serve, Your Majesty. Alright, let's get this done, Your Holiness. You can't divorce me! I'm divorcing you! Very well, you're now divorced in the eyes of the kingdom. Thank the ninth. Soon Ada is ready to leave. What a relief, I thought I'd be stuck here forever. Well, ninth be with you. Then she's gone, leaving you in the palace with no one but your honor guard, your huge household of servants, the palace watch, and your inner circle of advisors. Practically alone! Word quickly spreads throughout the kingdom. It's shaken by the news. In the capital and beyond, everyone's gossiping about what happened. By the ninth, Your Holiness! You rejected my dear Ada! My own blood! This is an outrage! The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I see. Excuse me? I and my fellow grandees worked hard to put a dowry together for that poor Ada, tailor her outfit, prepare the feast. Now that marriage is dissolved, I petition the monarch to refund the cost of the wedding. I mean... Sure! You want the wedding? I'll refund it. Looks like we're gonna have an interesting thing going on here in a moment. Oh, it's about to get interesting. I'm giving you squat. Whoops. By the ninth, this is an insult, not just to my family, but to all grandees. As the anger grows in the south, you do hear whispers that some people believe that you were right in standing your ground. Hopefully your supporters will win out. Meanwhile, Dio Dragon is forced to put Ada in her estate, which turns out to be a great expense. The servants hate having her back, but she's no longer your problem. Oh boy! Bees. The march has been taking to beekeeping like bees to a flower. Crops are bountiful, fields are blooming. There have been festivals, much dancing and merriment. But the church is worried. The farm folk are besieged by nightmares, all involving bees. It has made them superstitious, and they're losing faith in the... My liege, wait! Martyr's farms have improved beyond measure, and there's widespread happiness like never before. But for some reason the church wishes to burn our hives. Wait, what? It must be done. Our churches lie empty on holy days, for the peasants of the march now worship only the harvest. They pray to their hives instead of a ninth. Look, nobody's praying anyway, Archbishop. Now, liege, please. The peasants have full bellies and joyful smiles. This is what the church would burn, Your Majesty. Liar! My priests support your peasants complain of night horrors and insomnia. Something evil is happening in the marsh. I mean... more bees! More bees! More bees! More bees! More bees! Fund more bees! All of the bees! All of the bees! Praise the bees! Oh boy, our kingdom is a mess. Might as well have bees! The church is horrified! The farmers are overjoyed! They invest in more hives and throw festivals to celebrate. Not festivals in your name or in the ninth god, but at least they're happy. Your Majesty, we may have a problem in the marsh, though I'm not sure how much of a problem. Of course you have a problem. Have you seen the march recently? Yes, the place is a mess, but there's a new wrinkle. What I know is this, the march is in the middle of a famine. The peasants are starving in their hovels. Even most of the barons are eating bread and drinking water. But Baron Indraxian is an exception. He's one of the wealthiest nobles in the marsh, and he's importing corn from Tavalin in huge quantities. He's distributing it among the peasants for free. How's that a problem? The common folk now love him as a result. All across the march, peasants are comparing Indraxian to the monarch. The comparison is unflattering to you. I don't know if Baron Indraxian intends this to happen, but the common folk are talking about rising up and putting him on the throne. But that's where I sit! Indeed it is, Your Majesty. What do you suggest I do? Order him to stop distributing food. It's harsh, but it'll nip this in the bud. Or you could use your own funds to mount a relief effort to make this piddly in comparison. Yeah, this happened because it had low farming to begin with in the year. Of course, you'll need council approval either way. Yeah. honourable nobles of the council, I beseech you, let me continue my good work. All I'm doing is feeding the hungry because the monarch is letting them starve. I mean, we could bankrupt ourselves. Oh, no. Let's not bankrupt myself. Why not? Because I'd lose. Considering that we got to 1 stability at one point, I think we've done fantastically well. Ish. Kind of. Maybe. Baron and Draxian continue to distribute corn. The peasants, no longer on the brink of starvation, can focus on plowing the fields. Meanwhile, even the nobles gossip about how Baron and Draxian succeeded where the monarch failed. It's fine. It's fine! It's not fine! Your request is, hey, I have a child! Should I die, I ask that the crown be passed on to my son! May I be the first to congratulate you on your birth of your son. The name is Lumi 2. We are blessed, your highness. Congratulations on an heir. Okay. Vanity project? Hey, you're carrying parchment. Statues can be torn down, paintings can be burned, but you think it's time you left a lasting mark on this kingdom? I propose we carve your majesty's visage into the side of a mountain. Just make sure you get my good side. Of course, your majesty. The grand tradition of all royal portraits and statues, I'll make sure it's incredibly flattering. Let's see if we can do this. I mean... we can do it. We can do it! I have a plan! Oh, this will be a new wonder of Celestia. Planning starts in earnest. The mountainside is covered with scaffolding. You eagerly await news. But the work is plagued with setbacks. Oh dear. Your Majesty, I have to admit I've bitten off more than I could chew. This will work out in the end, right? Yes, yes, of course it will! It becomes clear the Chief Architect's grand ideas will take a lot longer to come to fruition. Your Greatness, barons are completely out of control. They've started hunting in our territory, killing and stealing away our precious natural resources. We're only hunting wyverns, you fool. There's nowhere else to hunt. You've practically got an infestation this time of year. We're doing you a favour, if anything. Your Majesty, it would be best if we were to nip this in the bud before it gets too heated. Alright then. We could designate a Wyvern Week for the Barons. Seems like an idea. See if it works. I mean, it's 55%, so it's practically zero. You know how this works. 55% is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I'll start training my wyvern. How to train your wyvern. Both nobles grumble and groan at the decision. No one is happy, which means it's a good compromise. Oh, that means you can't rebel! Oh, you can't rebel! Because stability is at 6! and nothing here affects that. Meanwhile, the grandees are like, please. No, if you have to exceed the maximum of either the tallest of either stability or authority. And considering it's at 6 and you've equaled 6, the rebellion is cancelled. Because at the last minute, I made everything a bit better. At the last minute. However, there might be a problem on the horizon. Fortunately, the grandees still... Ooh, E and A. What happens if you're the equal in the military? Ah! That's what happens. Well... Fortunately, it's next month. Bankruptcy looms! At the start of your reign, you wanted to be a conqueror. But so far, you've not convinced anyone. The kingdom's army is mediocre at best, your majesty. You won't be doing any conquering anytime soon. Your current ambition isn't working for you. If you want to stop us from the nobles from overthrowing you, you need to pivot, change your image. My advice would be to infiltrate each legion with royal spies. You can't do it until next season. Defeat their schemes with rebels of your own. While your other advisors have ideas. Your majesty, if you help us... Oh, you want us to spread the zeal of the... No! The common folk are a sleeping giant, and even the nobles are afraid to wake. If you become beloved by the peasants, the nobles won't dare to overthrow you. Don't listen to those fools. Have you heard of the scepter of sages? They're gonna go with stability and farming. Actually, 6, 4, 17, 9, 11, 19. Wise decision, your majesty. I'll begin recruiting town criers to shout for your achievements to the masses. But first you need some actual achievements. Prove your stability and farming as much as you can. Of course, there can't be open rebellion. Your majesty, I must speak to you at once. The beekeepers in the marsh have become emboldened. They see the kingdom's support as an endorsement of their beliefs. Beliefs? The High Inquisitor betrays no hint of emotion. They become obsessed with bees, your majesty. They form their own traditions and ceremonies with honey, hooded robes and dancing. It must be stopped. I'm not going to forbid dancing. These farmers speak of death, your majesty, and the coming harvest. They speak of golden tongues and blood running like honey. This is nothing more than a cult, yet the barons are more than tolerating it. This isn't a cult, it's merely a quaint rural tradition, and they are making some divine honey. Well, it's gonna end badly either way. Everything is gonna burn down. Ba 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 ba. Military's gonna be in shambles. Ba 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 ba. It's all gonna go horribly wrong. You send troops to the Inquisitors to the march, this cult bend the knee, or face your wrath. Some farmers refuse to recognize the Knight's supremacy. They're burned at the stake. The Inquisitor looks on, eyes gleaming. Despite this public example, other farmers still refuse to abandon their bee cult, which continues to flourish. Churches stand empty, holy books are burnt, peasants kneel before their hives, praying for honey. Ah, it's fine. You got 10... it's fine. The treasury's almost empty. What do you suggest we do? Apart from raising taxes, we have precious few options. A bank loan? Sell off your crown jewels? Perhaps crack open some of your predecessors' tombs? I own the Royal Mint, don't I? Make more coins! The Royal Mint begins churning out new coins, allowing you to pay off several old debts. It's fine! Across the kingdom, commoners and nobles alike are now turning to General Adelis, who promises to rescue them from the monarch's weak rule. There are daily parades in the general's honour. A cult of personality begins to form. Ah, of course it won't, Frithin. It's fine. In the grand hall of Baron Rackenshin's castle, a number of figures are hunched around the hearth, plotting away. Soon the people will beg us to depose our pathetic monarch. The general is in place. It's time for our final blow. What's next? Raise others' defiance? Oh! Whoo! Okay! I think it's over, people. I think the grandees have done a grand job at not raising their religion, and the barons have done a brilliant job of basically winning. Oh dear. Well done. Civil war? How delectable. Of course, we'll have to make sure the other nobles are suitably enraged. We can't be seen to be starting the whole thing. A simple task. The other regions are eager for another excuse to hate the monarch. We just need to give them a push. And that's when the general will swoop in to save the kingdom from itself. Ingenious, if I do say so. At least 14! Or ensure another region begins a rebellion. So if you rebel, grandees, the barons win. Masterful! Won't matter. If they rebel, that's it. So now you can't rebel, grandees, otherwise the barons win. I think it's time for some tax cuts. Don't rebel! You will literally lose! Like, I'm not even kidding. If you press rebel, you lose, grandees. Okay, you have lost. Unless I win my ambition. Your Majesty, the common folk are swayed as easily as a dandelion in a gale. I'm confident that we can make them adore you. This will be the biggest public relations campaign the kingdom has ever seen. You'll tour the kingdom giving speeches. Town criers will declaim your great deeds from every corner. Is that all? Of course not. Posters, pamphlets, bards. There's many facets, Your Majesty. Let me take care of it. A few days later, the chancellors help you prepare your first big speech. Get me my fancy robes! Get the monarch their fancy robes! You're hustled out into the palace balcony, below which a sea of expectant and unwashed faces gaze up at you. As you step out, they erupt in cheers. Hats are thrown in the air, some faint with joy. Everywhere you've gone, you've met the same reception. The people like you. They really like you. But you need to turn that into love. Well, coin toss has never gone my way. As you launch into your speech, the peasants start to chat amongst themselves. Half the crowd drifts away in dribs and drabs. You don't make much of an impression. Oh dear. Better luck next time, Your Majesty. The more of these speeches you give, the better you'll be received. All I need to do is lower your... Matter of faith. Your Holiness, the Archbishop and I have a proposal that I believe you'll find most intriguing. I'm sure you've noticed that the barons could stand to be a little more zealous in their faith. And as for the chiefs, well, they're a pack of backward pagans. They need a firm steer in the right direction. The ninth direction. You could all stand to be a bit more pious. Not me, of course, and I suppose not the Archbishop, but I agree. Everyone else has reason to improve. Anyway, I have an idea. The House of Sunset holds a holy relic, St. Margot's bones. They've been known to cause miracles. Healing the sick, tears the blood, that sort of thing. The bones are only allowed to leave the south in exceptional circumstances, but surely our current lack of faith qualifies? Let's take St. Margot on a whirlwind tour of the kingdom. What good will dusty old bones do? Even the most committed sinner will be called to the night's light when they gaze upon such a holy artifact. You can't vote, see? It's not an option! Whoa! Victory? Or deferring defeat from the clutches of Ugh! Taking it to every town, home, and hamlet. I knew you'd understand, Your Majesty. We can save this kingdom yet. For defiance! The bones are loaded into a luxurious wagon, escorted by holy knights. First, they are trundled off to Kellenberg in a march. Peasants make the pilgrimage across the land to pay their respects. From there, the bones are rattled painstakingly back to the village to village, winding mountain roads and following over perilous rivers, followed by a growing trail of pilgrims. Even the northerners are wrapped up in the spell of the saint, with many peasants casting aside their old gods after they witness the bones curing an old man's cataracts in Thormgard. Ooh! Bad news, Your Majesty. A meddling wizard has set up shop in Coles.
Mayhem! Yippee!
It's Kiji-kun with 31 months. Thank you ever so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you. That's really kind of you. I believe it is Asmerald, the Stormbringer. Why is that a problem? She's put out a call for new apprentices, which is a rare event, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Droves of unmatched glory-seeking villagers from all over the world are lining up. Not just peasants, Throica have also decided to apply. The competition will be fierce, but those knaves are no match. I will be the most powerful noble this council has ever seen. You? You couldn't put your clothes on if it wasn't for your servant's help. We can't let this go ahead. To have a potential wizard on the council would present a clear and dangerous conflict of interest. Then we'll assemble the council. I mean, you could do it if you give me all your money. Just give me all your money. And then you could do it. Just hand me your money and you could become a wizard. Just got to bounce things a little bit more. Just balance things a little bit more. Oh, I note that the faith thing has really worked out for the grandees, which isn't wonderful. But maybe there's a winner suddenly sneaking in the grandees. I suppose that's an acceptable compromise. Throica begins his journey to Colvisham immediately. His successor inherits his position, but the treasury confiscates the vast majority of his wealth as payment. Ashmore's presence in Colvisham attracts all sorts of visitors, but the power of her latent magic starts to wilt crops for miles. Alright, well, meanwhile, our chiefs are gathered in an empty hall. News report from one of their spies has just come in. By Grala's beard! General Adelis is planning to overthrow the monarch, and the barons are backing them. Is it too late to stop them? Impossible to say. They haven't made their move just yet, but it's coming. We just have to delay them long enough for Monarch Lumi to solidify their power. It shouldn't be long now. A monarch's on the verge of greatness, I can feel it. The chiefs must continue to aid the monarch. Meanwhile, deep in the south, a group of grandees watch silently as a blindfolded Grandee Throica II tries to stab a portrait of Monarch Lumi with a wooden stake. We did this at my granddaughter's 4th birthday with a drawing of a pig. Finally, Grandee Throica hits its mark and a cheer erupts. Friends, honoured guests, people of the faith, the ninth god has spoken. Now begins the final stage of our plan, excommunication. Only one question. For which sin will the Archbishop excommunicate the monarch? Oh. Greed and avarice might be a good idea. Greed and avarice is a brilliant idea. However, if no, I think Greed and Avarice is great. Oh no, the rebellion got cancelled. It shall be done! We shall now ensure the monarch is seen as a greedy pig. For the final stage, you must raise the grandee to at least 4,000 for a full season. Ah! You know what? We'll adopt that and we'll get rid of that. You know, I think we might be in trouble. I think the grandees have got it. Hello, Your Majesty. I've travelled all the way from the north to beg you to do something about the price of grain. I can't afford to feed my family. A day of back-breaking work isn't enough for a day's worth of bread. She's right. The grain price of the north is beyond all control. Greedy merchants rake in the profits. The common folk starve. I mean, I could just import grain from the march and distribute it for free. It seems like a good idea. Hello, Casual Hoy. How you doing? Everybody that's not the grandees wants C. We're not going to get rid of all of our money. This is going to be an Hello, Casual Hoy. We're near the end of our stream. Thanks for raiding. But, I look like I was... To quote Fwiffo from Star Control 2, we were going well, and it looked like we may have actually won, right up until we lost. This isn't going good. The North is in your debt, Your Majesty. The kingdom's coffers open and the tide of free grain floods from the north, march from the north, putting many northern merchants out of business, but giving some barons a nice windfall. Grain flow is sufficient to keep the peasants alive until the next harvest, which is hopefully better days. Meanwhile, an elderly grandee died in her sleep. Why are you telling me this? She was very wealthy, Your Majesty, but she could have spent more time on her accounts. She died without a will. The nobles are scrabbling for her estate. Grandee Dorida was my relative. I wrote to her at least once a year. The estate shall be mine. My late great-grandfather used to play backgammon with her. He swore she intended to leave it to our family. But what's holy, that's a pitiful claim.
Mayhem! Yippee!
Thanks for the gift sub there, Casual Hoy. That is very kind of you. There is literally nothing we can do here. I mean... except that... I mean, we're doomed. Well played, grandees. You thought you'd lost. But then you won. It was a genius move. The Ninth came back. That they did. They came back in a big way. We get to see the excommunication ending. Thank you, you brought it upon yourself by vetoing our rebellion. Yeah. It's one loss or another. I had a chance by vetoing the rebellion. I had a chance. A chance is better than no chance. Southern and Marcher nobles watch in outrage as peasants occupy the estate and move into the manor house. Using the late Grandee Dorinda's money, the peasants set up a marketplace on her land. Turns out to be a huge success, with merchants flocking to the place in crowds. You trust the situation is resolved. Oops! It's alright, Cav. Now we'll do the wild beast attacks. Your Highness, I bring ill tidings from the north. Wildlife has gone berserk in rural areas. They're attacking villages and travellers all across the region. Tell me more about them. They're great hulking beasts, clearly twisted by magic. Some say they walk and talk like people. The northern warriors are afraid. They say the creatures are a dark omen, a sign of the end. Certainly the end of me. Neither preserve us. What's gotten to these chiefs that they can't handle a few wild animals? The other regions have plenty of their own problems, Your Majesty. No one wants to march into the frozen north for something like this. You're about as useful as nipples on a breastplate. Point of order, Your Highness. Though the church's presence in the north is minimal, we could provide shelter for those who need it. All will be welcome, whether they are adherents to the true god or not. It's the least we can do. Or, if you can afford it, send a detachment of mercenaries who aren't afraid of a few wild bears. That should be enough to end this crisis. I mean... does it matter? Hire the mercenaries, it doesn't make a difference. Thank you very much, Casual Hoy. I hope you had a good stream. Apologies for my mods misclick. These things happen. I mean, we're not gonna win either way. You might as well hire the mercenaries. If we'd have had suddenly the consequences of inflation happening immediately this month, we might have been alright. We were not alright. Well done, Grandies. You have a win. You find a suitable company of mercenaries and send an officer down to your own city watch to oversee the expedition. They return with tales of glorious hunt and legendary northern hospitality. Chief Valtor V is happy to report the beasts have been forced back into the wilds. Meanwhile... the trial. You admire yourself looking in the glass. The last time you cleaned up as well for your coronation? How time flies. Once dressed in your best finery, it's short and nervous carriage ride to the cathedral, the holy site upon which your excommunication trial will take place. The Archbishop greets you coldly. Montluni, stand accused of greed and avarice, of hoarding your kingdom's wealth and letting the ninth godchildren suffer needlessly. How do you plead? Guilty. The Archbishop looks surprised. In that case, I hereby excommunicate you from the Church of the Ninth God. Gasps and murmurs echo through the chamber. A few grandees turn and whisper to each other, looking smug. As you are no longer a member, you may not hold any official title for the rest of your cursed life, including monarch. Very well. I know when to give up. A wise choice, Lumi. We wouldn't want this to get messy, after all. And while we're all here, why not crown your successor? We wouldn't want a troublesome interregnum, would we? I believe the Archbishop has the holy oars ready to go. Which successor? Why, it's Grandee Pasqualo, of course, a favourite child of God, if there ever was one. He'll be a worthy king, I'm sure. Now, if you please, your great and wise holiness. The Grandees gesture to the Archbishop, who immediately starts another ceremony. The other nobles' mouths are agape, but none try to stop it. By the end of the day, King Pasqualo has kicked you out of the palace, along with young Lumi too, leaving you penniless on the capital streets. None of the other nobles dare help you. All you can do is beg for scraps and hope the Grandees don't decide to tie up loose ends. The ex-monarch Lumi wandered the streets, reduced to the status of beggar. Everywhere they went, they were greeted with kicks and curses before finally dying of an infected blister. Alas, the barons withdrew support, and wave of popular momentum behind General Adilis petered out. They are soon just another bitter old soldier, ranting that they could have been the monarch. Unable to keep their puppet on the throne, the chiefs were forced to retreat to the frozen north and brood. It won't be long before a new northern claimant would rise, and when they did, the chiefs would be ready. Lumi smirks as soon as the inflation kicks in. Yeah! In the wake of the scandal, the Grandees swept happily into the sudden power vacuum. After all, Pasqualo's religious credentials were beyond question. However, the Grandees were soon surprised to find that the new king was more independent than they calculated. Monarch Lumi the Rich! Long reign, we were nearly there. If we'd have got that 50-50 vote, we could have won. But, so that 50-50 coin toss, but it was a loss. Rakenshin is the richest, Throika is the poorest. This is the kingdom. Yeah, you might start with a lot of cash and then, no cash. That was an interesting reign. A very interesting reign. It was a one of ups and downs, considering that we were at 1 stability at one point. Oh, it was an emotional one. And a fun one. A very fun one. Can't complain when it's that action-packed. Can't complain when it's that tumultuous. The bees will remember this, they will. They will remember this, this is true. Oh, Faith and Farming swing was ridiculous. It was. We could actually go for a farming win next time. And Granny's got saved by the 9th there. Some of us forgot the Grandy scheme is pretty much always needing high faith. True. True. But I needed that stability. It was luck. It's always luck. But you know what, folks? It's also you all being fantastic. Because you're all here, and it's all amazing. Thank you all ever so much, everyone, for being here. Seriously, thank you. You're all absolutely awesome, and amazing, and brilliant, and I couldn't thank you enough for being here. And there are a couple of things I need to quickly talk about before we conclude. First off, there is my website, kikosuke.com. No problem. You can check out all kinds of things there, including but not limited to all of the editing and compression. Oh, sorry, all the check all kinds of things there. You can't check that out. Sorry. For instance, there is the let's start again. Thank you, Tiny Train. Thank you for getting me back on my swing. I don't know how I got distracted there. Bring up, yeah. First, there is my website, kikosuke.com. You can check out all kinds of things, including my schedule, read plenty of Dust. You can also find links away Goodbye, and Hope. Then there is my Discord, where you can join a large and thriving community, which I'm often a part of. There are loads of places to talk about stuff, loads of emotes based on Let's Plays and streams past and present, and if you link your Twitch and Discord together, and you search your Twitch, you can use the Twitch emote on Discord, which is fantastic. There's also my Patreon. There you can pledge to support me in doing what I do. There's my Let's Play stream my center behind paywalls, but there is a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you typically do not see, including but not limited to all the editing, compression, test streams, and test recordings, and everything that makes all what I do a reality. And those that do pledge in these trying times do make all what I do possible. Those that do not only get a different coloured name on Discord and my deep and sincere thanks, you also get the ability to vote on upcoming playthroughs and the opportunity arises via the shortlist method, as in you get to pick games that are shortlisted and then it's voted on by the wider community. And tomorrow I will be collating the shortlisted options from the weekend. There's also my YouTube channels. First there is Kikosuke, my Let's Play channel of 16 years now. I'm so old. There's over 10,000 videos there. I'm so old. There's also KikVodskia, which is my more recent VOD-only channel, with recent, current, and upcoming VODs going there. My goal is to get Kikosuke up to 100,000 YouTube subscribers and KikVodskia up to 1,000. Getting pretty close to that one. And both of those channels like engagement, so if you enjoy the videos, why not like and comment, and subscribe if you're not, and if you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications. There's also my Twitter, where you can follow me to get notifications about when I start streaming, when my Let's Play videos go live, and all kinds of random other stuff. There's also Instagram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Discord that I mentioned before, and the YouTube community tab. You are right, it was all luck, but you know, there's a bit of luck in all games, and you know, luck happens when opportunity meets preparation, as some say. There's also my Throne wishlist, where you can put money towards getting me things that bring me joy. Right now there is a Gumpler and a couple of Warhammer figurines there for me to potentially get. And if you have ideas for something and it's not there on that list, you can suggest things. Finally, there is me thanking all of you, because seriously, you are all absolutely fantastic and amazing and brilliant and wonderful, and I could not do what I do without you, and I wouldn't want to do what I do without you. You are the heart and soul of my community. You make it all possible, and truly you are just the most supportive and kind and wonderful group of people ever. And that was an incredibly enjoyable stream that you made possible. You truly did. And you're just absolutely amazing. And with your continued support, I'll be able to keep doing this for as many years to come as is possible. And that is what I hope to do. So thank you all. Yeah, we tempted chance by keeping Faith at 0 for so long, that's true. If Faith had been, like, low, but not too low, it might have been better, but it was still fun. So thank you all ever so much, folks. Seriously, thank you. And whether it be morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope you have... The problem was I needed to keep, like, stability. I needed to lower Defiance, otherwise the Rebellion would have happened. Yeah. One person was going to win or someone else was going to win. One of them gave me a little more time, though. I needed time. It was either lose next season or maybe lose the season after that. I went with the maybe lose, without realizing the faith increase. But anyway, whether it be morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you achieve everything you set out to do. The next stream is tomorrow, 2 PM GMT, Animal Crossing New Horizons. They'll be adorable! There'll be another villager, no doubt, moving in at some point, and there will also be chill vibes. Thank you very much, Simply, and thank you very much, everyone. And there was a possible win chance between two losers, exactly. There was also a 50-50 thing with this stability victory, which could have just happened. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later. Remember, be nice to each other, everyone. For if everyone is nice to each other, the world would be that much better a place. And we all want that, don't we? Well, I certainly do. And I hope you do too. Later. Let's see if King Pasqualo does better. Something tells me they probably won't. But we'll see. Later.